Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
Welcome everybody to the Nightly News right here on our Friday, August 26, 2022 edition of the Nightly News with Venmo Bidondi right here on TruthRadioShow.com. So what's going on, everybody in the chat room? And we got an awesome show coming up next after this. Spiritual Warfare Friday. We're going to be joined live with Trey Harris. He's the host of Course Correction Radio. Mysterious Monuments of Babylon. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff that most of you all seen this in either the books or been to these monuments and all that, and thinking they're American national monuments and all that, which they are. But unfortunately, yeah, there's a flip side to that. A lot of people are going to be startled and shooken over this because people who thought the Statue of Liberty is something of liberty, it's nothing to do with liberty at all. Wait till you see this stuff, man. The Washington Monument, is it really for George Washington, or is it for a greater agenda? You know what I mean? Wait till you see this stuff. It's crazy, man. Here's a study, man, and I tell you, it's a bitter pill to swallow to know that these things are not what they present to be. So anyway, I want to thank ShakeandWakeRadio.com and BeforeIt'sNews.com for carrying the show. And again, coming up next, Mysterious Monuments of Babylon. So me and Trey Harris are going to rock this out. We got tons of stuff to show you. It's crazy, from the Washington Monument to the Statue of Liberty to the now former Georgia Guidestones. Crazy stuff, man. And we're going to tell you why they're putting the stuff up, folks. Big thing. And so if people believe that the government represents the people, it's like believing that the Pope represents Jesus Christ. They don't. Plain and simple. They do not. and I can't express that enough. So anyway, let's just jump into this news because we got lots to talk about. And hang on 1 second. Let me get I don't have my news up here. So yeah, it's been a long day, guys. And I was interviewed earlier by the Danish-Dutch Broadcasting Corporation. So they came out here to the United States, to Rhode Island, to interview me for the documentary they're doing. I was interviewed by them about 6 years ago, real guys of the Sandy Hook stuff. So they came out to interview me and get my take on the whole thing with Sandy Hook and all that. So it was pretty exciting, you know what I mean, and to get the information out worldwide. So I'm excited with that. So anyways, just getting to this news, guys, and if it is buffering at all, I apologize. There's fluctuations going on with the internet. We just had thunder and lightning storm here, like most of the day here. So anyway, so Missouri School District, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, we're going to talk about UFOs, biometrics, RFID microchip implants, and much more. About a couple articles before we get into that. Missouri School District revives paddling to discipline students. So yeah, a school district in southwest Missouri is bringing back a measure it last resorted to over 2 decades ago to address disciplinary actions and problems spanking students. Now, this was a thing. I remember my parents talking about this, man. They, yeah, if you were out of line, man, the teacher would come over and take a ruler or something and smack you in the knuckles or whatever the heck they did to you. This was done. They call it corporal punishment. You know what I mean? This was done in the schools forever in the country. You know what I mean? If a student was out of line, they put you in place, plain and simple. Just like your parents would and everything else. So they would put you in your place. So to let you know, hey, knock it off, man. Seriously, And so the classes started Monday for 1,900 students in Classville R4 Schools District, about Regional 4, let's just say, about an hour west from Branson, 50 miles from Arkansas border. During open house, families were notified that the school board had adopted a policy in June allowing physical force as a method of correction students' behavior, and parents were handed forms to specify whether they authorized the school to use the paddle on the children, Springfield News reported. So, yeah, like I said earlier, formerly known as corporal punishment, you know what I mean? The disciplinary measure would also involve striking students on the buttocks with the wooden paddle. So in this case, yeah, they had this wooden paddle, and they would smack you on the ass, okay? They did that to students years ago. They didn't do it when I was going to school, but, during our parents' age, when they were going to school and before, they used to have a wooden handle or, depends on the school, or they would use a rule and smack you in the hand with it, you know what I mean? Just to discipline you if you're getting out of line. And frankly, man, I tell you, because the Bible does say, spare the rod, spoil the child, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you can take it for what it is, and I know some parents would be like, yeah, no, I don't think so, But regardless, I think some schools need it, to tell you the truth. But anyway, that's another story altogether. So, teen who identifies as a cat allowed at school to act feline and not speak. So, yeah, you've seen this, yeah? This is crazy, man. This teenager, right? They call them furries. It's a new pronoun or something, like male, female, whatever, you identify as, and they want to be identified as a cat. Anything to do with an animal, it's called a furry, right? So basically, a kid gets to go to school, act like a complete retard, and get away with it. Instead of just paying attention and doing what they're supposed to do, nope, they're going to go around, a teenager. I'm a cat. Ugh. So... oh, man, it's so dumb. It really is. So many kids learn, and I got to remember I'm not on Rumble, so I got to watch what I say. Many kids learn in different ways. Some are more visual than others, absorb information way better than they tried to about. So anyway, but everybody learns best when they are comfortable, at ease. And for one, a teen in Australia, the measure is like acting like a cat. And according to the Herald Sun, the girl identifies as a cat. In the private school she attends, her is a nonverbal and act like a feline. So, yeah, this teenager gets to go to school, act like a cat, doesn't speak, nothing like that. So as long as it doesn't become a distraction to the students. So you got some idiot, okay, that's sitting there and, like, looking at itself, or whatever, you know what I mean? Act like a cat, and the teacher asks questions for students, and sometimes there's a lot of oral exams, Yeah, and this one's not allowed to do that. I don't know if that's a picture of that or not, but yeah. And the school confirmed that specifies they did explain the statement that some of the students display a range of issues from mental health, anxiety, and identity issues. Nothing of approaches unique to the student that will take into account professional advice and well-being of the student. So, long story short, this article, yeah, this Australian school is allowing this kid, this teenager, I should say, to come to school and act like a complete moron. Yeah, if I did that in my school when I was going to school, yeah, I'd get my butt kicked, and rightfully so. And I think I was like, yeah, I would deserve to get my butt kicked if I'm acting like a little retard like that, thinking I'm a cat or a dog. Yeah, try that in high school, yeah, because as a teenager, you're probably in high school, but try to do that in high school, normal places. Yeah, I don't think you got to learn your lesson. So, in normal schools anyway. So, Mark Zuckerberg, FBI pushed Facebook to crack down on misinformation before Hunter Biden laptop story was published. But actually, this is true. Because we could actually confirm that because we've been reporting this stuff forever. You know what I mean? The total technocracy control grid, that's what they're setting up. And yes, the FBI actually has been using Facebook. Facebook is, the thing is, it wasn't created for your benefit. It wasn't created for to communicate with friends. It was created for that. Yes, I should reword that right better. It was created to spy on you. Plain and simple. All the social media was created to spy on you, not for your benefit, not for your amusement or whatever the case. It was created to spy on people and get profiles on them. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. Let me turn my microphone up. So that's why they. Hang on a second, guys. That's why government funds these things, these programs and all that for social media and everything. So, plain and simple, that, to spy on people. This guy's like a robot, man. I swear this guy's like some kind of android or something. They have these realistic robots because this guy never changes. And it's like he just stares into space. So, this Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg revealed Thursday on the Joe Rogan Experience that the FBI approached the social media platform during the 2020 presidential election and pushed them to crack down on alleged Russian propaganda. Before the whole Hunter Biden laptop story was published by the New York Post, this is true. I remember all this. So Zuckerberg made remarks when asked about host Joe Rogan. Now Facebook handled big news at controversial like the Hunter Biden laptop story. So he goes, basically the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks are on a team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like you should be on high alert. There was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election, and we have noticed that basically there's about some kind of a dump that's similar to that, so just be vigilant, Zuckerberg said. So a lot of stuff they interviewed him on, and basically the FBI, yes, was interfering, which is illegal. You know what I mean? Disinformation, misinformation, and which most of it's true. What they call misinformation, most of it is true. Yes, there's a lot of garbage out there, but most of it is true. So he got expert urges public to report UFOs and look to the skies. As we got in our title here, UFOs, biometrics, and microchips, and all that stuff that they're going to push onto you guys. So years ago, they tell people, just ignore up in the sky. They tell people just ignore it and just look the other way, so to speak. Now they're telling people, you need to look up and look to the skies. This is News Nation saying this, Are we alone in the universe? And Congress seems to think not, and recently approved a bill that would change the definition of UFO to create a secure government system that will make it easier to report UFO sightings and other unidentified aerial phenomena. So they quietly changed the term from UFO to UAP. So if you get UAP, it's a UFO. That's what it is. So, and I don't know why they changed it that way. Maybe it's just an upgrade. Because UFOs are around forever, the title. Excuse me, guys. So, I got allergies today, man. It's like they kick in, then they stop. It's weird. And I don't want to take medication. If you take Benadryl, it just knocks you right out. I don't want to do that tonight. So So, astrophysics professor of science at Harvard University, found the directors of Harvard's Black Hole Initiative as a director of Institute Theory and Computation of the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astro. Wow, what a long title that is. How would you say Harvard professor? How's that sound? Yeah, and they go on with all these titles. All right, yeah, whatever. Just say Harvard professor Avi Loeb, okay, said, effort comes as more than a speculate that the government has more data in which it has not been released to the public. No kidding. We know that. So Loeb explained that the public only sees blurred images and only hears rumors of such sightings, but modern day technology would allow for clearer pictures and detailed data. So many people I know and myself, we've seen, it's known as UAP, UFO. And the other thing, so you got to be careful because some of these things are satellites, whatever the case. So, but yeah, a lot of people have been seeing these. It's like becoming common now, So, but they want to make an app to basically create an app. This way you could easily report it and have a database because they're looking, for everywhere. To create an app to yeah, it's crazy, man. So sorry about that. My microphone muted here. So yeah, they want to create an app on your phone to basically, so you see a UFO, whatever the case, you could take a picture and send it. They got all these apps for everything, man. They got Snoop apps and everything to report to the government. I think the NSA, they're setting up apps too, for the Homeland Security and all that to report domestic terrorists and everything else. And now they want one for UFOs. It's going to be pretty interesting. I would play with them too. I would download the app and throw a paper plate in the air or something. Take a picture. Oh, there's a UFO. Like they used to do in the 1960s. So Congressman applies that UFOs have non-human origins, says Congress. So in Congress, where legislation is drafted, debated, and enacted, clear, conscious definitions of paramount importance. As military air crews increasingly encounter identified flying objects, UFOs, lawmakers recently made several striking revisions that the definition UFO, the explosive implication that some UFOs are of non-human origin. So, non-human, yeah, that's, we know that, you know what I mean? It's like now they tell us, it's like, oh yeah, well, they're non-human. Well, no poop, you know what I mean? No crap. Of course, they got to be non-human, which we they're known as Nephilim, guys. I mean, that's what the Bible calls them, unclean spirits. So the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence rebrands UFOs as UAPs, unidentified aerial undersea phenomenon, expanding the definition to include objects in space and under the ocean, significantly broadens the scope of muscular new office task of Congress on investigating UFOs. So, yeah, a lot of people have been seeing these things coming out of the ocean, too. And there's been tons of videos of that. Or these crafts go into the ocean, out of the ocean, whatever the case. And, yeah, and they even said there's possible underwater bases of these UFOs. All kinds of crazy stuff, man. Stuff you see in movies. Now it's all coming out, true. It's all coming out in the media. The Pentagon released a 1,500-page report on these things, even saying that they could get people pregnant. Literally unexpected pregnancies from witnessing UFO phenomenon. People have been reportedly to get pregnant from that. And this is the Pentagon, okay? This is information coming out of the Pentagon. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but yeah. And they had all these sci-fi movies going on to indoctrinate you, to build you up, to accept these things, because they are going to come out. They're going to come to reality, that these things are going to appear to everybody, and it's good. The Bible says it's going to happen in Revelation chapter 16. I did a show on this stuff last night with Brian Reese. He's Uncle, let me see, Brian Reese, Flying Brian in the chat room. So me and him did a show on his channel last night about this stuff, and pretty cool stuff. So if you want more information on this, guys, what the Bible has to say and everything, go to that show from last night. So, but we still got more information here. But yeah, Congress says threats are increasing. So aliens have been part of our society for decades, actually a little more than that, decades. How about centuries? So not the lizard people in the White House. At least we don't think so. Now we're talking to about thousands of UFO sightings that have been reported since the 1950s. Of course, they didn't start in the 1950s. Reported sightings go back as far as man has documented them. So there are even hieroglyphics at some points people believe that depict ancient aliens, Egyptians, seeing unidentified flying objects and all that stuff. So we done extensive shows on this, talking about this stuff. You know what I mean? Not only the Bible has a lot to say about them. Yes, they have a lot to say about UFOs. In the Bible, which churches don't teach us. It's unfortunate. You go into a church, and if you even dare to talk about it, the dumbed down 501c3 ministers and all that and pastors, no, they don't exist, and the Bible doesn't say nothing about it. Yeah, the Bible has a lot to say about them. And the Bible calls these things unclean spirits. They're not from Mars or from the Pleiadian galaxy or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? They are interdimensional beings. That's what they are. It's not where they're from, it's how they're from. They're interdimensional beings. That's what they are. Unclean spirits, fallen angels, Nephilim and all that. That's exactly what they are. Principalities and all that. That's what these things are. And even people in the occult know this. In the high levels of the occult. They know these are not from outer space. And even Aleister Crowley, I hate bringing that jerk up. I do. Aleister Crowley, he had a famous quote talking about these things. Because one of the beings he was channeling was what we call a gray. Okay, with the small chins and the big heads and all that. So he was channeling one of these things, and he said today they're known as angels and demons. This is back in the, I think it was in the early 1900s or the late 1800s. He said that. Today they're known as aliens, UFO, yeah, reset. Okay, they're known as angels and demons. Tomorrow they're going to be known as something else. And sure enough, about the 1960s, that's when the UFO phenomenon really sparked up. In the 1950s and 60s with Project Blue Book and the Majestic 12 and all that stuff. So, yeah, and basically they just took on a new name. And yes, they were here in the beginning of civilization. They helped mankind build certain cities, and pyramids and all that stuff come from, the technology came from them. This technology here, you think some genius invented this. Touch screen and all that stuff, interfacing, because that's what it is. When you touch your phone, whatever, it's all touch screen today. But what you're doing is you're interfacing with the microchips. That's what you're doing. The screen displays what you're interfacing with. You think this is, some man invented this stuff? No, not at all. This technology comes from these very intelligent beings. They're super intelligent. And that technology is where we think, we got an iPhone 14 coming out, or whatever the case is. Yeah, okay, that in their world, okay, they probably have an iPhone 140, you know what I mean? We don't know, you know what I mean? But they're definitely well advanced than we are. And then they give governments technology in exchange for harvest on humans and everything else. Crazy stuff, man. Yeah, so Congress says the UFOs threats are increasing. I think Congress is actually the bigger threat, but yeah, because the thing is they can't monitor most of these things. It's, exponentially going off the charts. UFO sightings, I think, Rhode Island actually was ranked number 13 in the country for most UFO sightings. Pretty surprising, huh? So, yeah, they said that aliens have been part of our society for decades, which is generations since even before this country was founded. You even have what's his name? Christopher Columbus, which he didn't discover. He had nothing to do with discovering America, but in his logs, he charted on his voyages, he's seen disc lights, lights of disc, whatever, flying through the air, going in and out of the ocean and all that stuff too. So, people, explorers have documented this stuff forever. And yes, ancient cultures, if you look at ancient cultures, all of them, every one of them, every ancient culture, not just the Egyptians, have had some kind of communications with these things, and they help them build cities and everything else. So yeah, Congress confirms UFOs are not man-made and could be a threat. So the Pentagon directed and concentrated its UFO investigation by funding for the new American spy services. So once again, they want to set up an app and all kinds of ways for you to report first-hand accounts. And also, so Congress appears to have confessed something astonishing in a paper after years of discoveries of eerie sky phenomenon. First-hand accounts from Navy pilots regarding UFOs and government investigations. They don't think all UFOs are man-made. So they made two stunning Congress allegations in a study that in addition to the Intelligence Authorization Fiscal Act of 2023, the budget that controls Americans' covert agencies. And this all came out, and this was a Navy pilot following one of these things. And first, cross-domain transmedium risk the national security of the United States are growing exponentially. And the second is that it wants to distinguish between UFOs and human-made or those are not. So they want to distinguish if they're man-made or not, because yes, certain governments do experiment with things like this. And you don't know if it's government or a private agency, whatever the case, and if they're man-made, whatever the case, but we know most of them are not. So according to the document, temporary non-attributed objects, it's a new name. I should put a dictionary together, more than my mess-ups, So once again, temporary non-attributed objects for those who are positively identified as man-made after analysis will be passed to appropriate offices and should be considered under the definition of unidentified aerial undersea phenomenon. How about just stick to UFOs? Plain and simple. You know what I mean? And you got Stanford professor warns massive UFO disclosure is around the corner. So, yeah, the thing is, they got, like I said, this is how the government works. I said this many times. What they do is they dump a little information at a time. Little bit, just to keep people tantalized. They're not going to give you a massive file dump. When every time they dump information, it's a little bit more. So they want to do this to build people up, basically their immunity up toward these things. So when these things do come to light, they're going to come to, the Earth and present themselves. And people are not going to react as bad as they would right now. If they would have come, it would cause chaos everywhere, right? So they want to slowly indoctrinate you toward this big event coming. They know it's coming. I mean, the United Nations is already prepared for it. The Vatican's prepared for it. They've already talked about it. They had conferences over this stuff. They appointed space ambassadors and all this other stuff. They already done this a long time ago. I mean, this all came out in the media and all that stuff. They are ready for this, okay? And the Bible talks about this in Revelation chapter 16, plain and simple. And, when the great river Euphrates is drying up, which it is doing it now, right now it's halfway dried up. So a Stanford professor warns a massive UFO disclosure is around the corner and has come out during an interview and discussed topics such as existence of aliens and the government having the next generation technology. And again, that's where they get the technology from our angels. The angels are. So a Stanford professor has claimed that there's an active corrupt in the government's possessing technology that has come from another planet. No, it didn't come from another planet. It came from fallen angels. That's what it comes from. Because you got to understand, guys, the fallen angels, if you know anything about them, they don't have superpowers, okay? They don't have, as far as magic and stuff, that's not how it works, you know what I mean? They can't make things appear and disappear. They can't do, raise people from the dead, anything like that. So they have to, because when these angels are kicked out of the estate, which was heaven, a lot of the stuff they had, it's gone, you know what I mean? And them being here in the earth, they are restricted to certain things. So they, rely on technology. That's why they have CERN. That's why they have all this technology control grid being set up, because they need this technology to bring forth Satan's temporary kingdom that's coming, you know what I mean? Which is the end times, and it's going to be a short time with that. So they need technology to set up this world. And that also relates to all the monuments they're putting up and all that, with the seething energies, the ley lines and all. We're going to get to that stuff at the next show, but yeah, that's what's going on. So you're going to see a lot of these things coming. And one day you're going to wake up, you're going to see that something like this in the sky. And it's not a joke. You're going to see something like that in the sky. You're going to look on TV, and it's going to be major interruptions of your TV shows and all that. And you're going to see United Nations officials addressing this matter. And you're going to see things that you're going to be like, what? Is that real? I don't know if it'd be a reptilian or whatever the case, but the Bible says it's going to happen. They're preparing for this. They've already got this all prepared, because this is part of prophecy. You know what I mean? But they're going to present to the world to be something they're not. Remember that. They're not here for your benefit. They're not here to save you. They're not here to make the world better. They're going to present it that way. They got to cure diseases. They got to do all kinds of miraculous things, right? But don't be deceived by these things. Plain and simple. They're going to work with all the world's governments for Armageddon. And I know it busts a lot of people's bubbles because everybody's like, oh, I wanted to be abducted in these spacecraft and go see the universe. And that's not how it works. It's not how it works. So Congress admits UFOs are not man-made, says threats are increasing exponentially. And this is like the same article actually we just talked about. So before we get to the next subject here, we're going to go to a break. And so I want to know what you guys think on UFOs. And I did a poll here. So it looks like 43 people voted on it. I said, would you like the government to implant you with RFID microchip mark of the beast type style implants? 98% people said no. And I think maybe one person said yes. I don't know if you clicked that by accident, but yeah, I would not want something like that implanted in me. Plain and simple. And yes, this will eventually be the mark of the beast. And remember, the mark of the beast is presented by the Antichrist. And after, I don't know how many times they're going to express this. Not Dr. Fauci, not the World Health Organization, not any of that stuff. The mark of the beast, okay, is going to be pushed by the Antichrist. He's the one who's going to cause it. Because the Bible says he, referring to the Antichrist, he causes all small and great, rich and poor to receive a mark in the right hand or in the foreheads. Plain and simple. Well, people worship the number and everything else. So, yeah. He causes. That's the Antichrist. So before we go to our break, guys, I just want to issue this warning here. ATF, this is from Gun Owners America. This ATF rule makes every single firearm transaction record. It's Form 4473 will eventually end up in a digital searchable database rather than be destroyed after 20 years. But somehow that is in the violation of the prohibition of creating a gun registry. You want a question? So basically, English speaking, Form 4473 is when you go buy a firearm, right? Legally, you fill out this form. It's called 4473. It's basically telling the federal government, it's a background clearance and everything else, and it doesn't say exactly what you have. It just gives a serial number and all that, and they clear it, whatever the case. So you could buy a firearm, and then the records are supposed to be destroyed in 20 years. But anyway, they haven't been doing it. They've been actually keeping it and creating a gun registry. So the Gun Owners of America, which I think they're better than the NRA, to tell you the truth, but yeah, then, say, hey, be careful because the ATF is like kind of violating their own rules. You know what I mean? And it's an issue going out to all gun stores and everything else. And they are creating a database, plain and simple. They're creating a database for gun owners. And we all know where registry leads to. You know what I mean? Registry leads to confiscation. And every country that's pushed this stuff has done exactly that. Oh, no, we don't want to take your guns. We just want to register them to keep everybody safe, right? People do the Registry Act and all of a sudden, yeah, boom, confiscation. And all these states are saying, oh, we're going to push gun control. We're going to push gun control, and we're not going to take them. We're just going to grandfather you in. When they push these gun restrictions, most of them say, oh, we'll let you keep the stuff. It's called the grandfather rule, but we need to register them. So you bring your weapons in to get registered, and all of a sudden, yeah, you could keep them, but they got a registry list. And later on, when the politicians say, we're going to take everybody's guns, so they know exactly what you got and how many you got, and they're going to know where to go to get them. Registration always leads to confiscation. Remember that. So I would tell the ATF, mind your freaking business. Plain and simple. I'll own what I want, when I want. It's none of your damn business. That's the way it should be. That's the Constitution. So we're going to go to quote of the day, brought to you by MidstateGuns.com. It's Rhode Island's largest indoor shooting range, MidstateGuns.com. So, and I don't even have my quote of the day. So I forgot to put that in. I apologize. So the quote of the day is, tell the government to go to hell. You're not taking nothing. Tell Congress that. Tell the president. You're not taking jack crap. That's my quote of the day. How's that sound? Come and take them, assholes. Excuse my language. Yeah, I just get so angry with the stuff. So that's my quote of the day. So I forgot to put that in there. I apologize, guys. The quote of the day is usually some quote from a founding father, whatever the case. So Yeah. So anyway, let's go to a video. Which actually I played this a couple times before, but this is related to what we're talking about. The digital ID, digital currency, and all that. It's all related to the biometrics, the implants they want to push on you. All of it's, remember, okay, the mark of the beast is not just one thing. The mark of the beast is built up of several components around it. You need all these components to be in play before you could actually push the actual mark of the beast. So remember that. So we'll be right back, and this is the video from my buddy Darren McBreen from Infowars.com. Mark of the Beast. We'll be right back.
The Great Reset and the War for the World has now arrived in our warehouse, and it's now beginning to ship. Secure yours today at InfoWarsStore.com and discover the enemy's plans for you and your family and how to stop them.
Please welcome Yuval Noah Harari.
COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. We want to stop this epidemic. We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
What we have seen so far, it's corporations and governments collecting data about where we go, who we meet, what movies we watch. The next phase is the surveillance going under our skin. We now see mass surveillance systems established even in democratic countries, which previously rejected them. And we also see a change in the nature of surveillance. Previously, surveillance was mainly above the skin. Now it's going under the skin.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Governments want to know not just where we go or who we meet. Above all, they want to know what is happening under our skin. What's our body temperature? What's our blood pressure? What is our medical condition?
In a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete.
When scanned, all of a person's information about their vaccination status is shown on a reader or phone.
Now humans are developing even bigger powers than ever before. We are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life. Humans are now hackable animals.
You will own nothing, and you will be happy.
I think that fake news have been with us for thousands of years. Just think of the Bible. You know, the whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
All right, guys, welcome back. So, yeah, that's what's going on. I mean, people could argue it or whatever, but that's the facts, and it's not if it's going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen, plain and simple. And the Bible makes that very clear. And the thing is, questions when. That's the other thing, too. And God does use people like us to fight against these things, to keep it back before the time. And he's done this millions of times, you know what I mean? So don't let the stuff depress you or get you afraid or anything like that, because even when it does happen, it's still going to be a massive resistance. Still going to be a massive resistance. So don't let it fret you, you know what I mean? And I showed this stuff several times before going any further. Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of these. When you go to the store next time, or a hospital or something, or a doctor's office, you're going to see these a lot. All right? You're going to see them right by the computers or the cash register. And it looks like a mouse, okay? And it's different. It's a RFID scanner. That's what it is. They call them NFC scanners. And basically anything with RFID technology that's people's credit cards now, whatever the case, they got the chip on it, whatever. And you can scan and which in the case will be the hands that will be scanning over that and will pick up the RFID radio frequency identification device in your hand, pick it up, and it has the information all on it. You know what I mean? And it's injected. The chip is injected by one of these, and every time I try to do this, I don't want the chip falling out, but that's what the chip looks like. If we could actually see it, yeah, it's that's what it looks like. It's a little RFID radio frequency identification transponder. It's like the size of a grain of rice, so that's what it looks like. And they use this to inject it into the hand of the person, and it normally goes between the thumb and the index finger. Hang on a second, I don't want to stab myself with this either. But yeah, it goes in here, and it floats freely. Some people put it in different areas, but normally it goes here. Okay, and companies are actually doing this. People in Sweden are actually doing this already. You know what I mean? And basically, you don't need a password or a key to get into the stuff. You know what I mean? So, and we're going to show you later too. People who have Teslas. One guy actually implanted his car key into his hand. A microchip, you know what I mean? It's to start his car so you don't forget it. But you got to see these everywhere. And a lot of arcades have this now. Now, years ago, you had the coins. Remember, you feed the arcade machines with the coins. They don't do that no more. They have the cards now, like Dave & Buster's and all that, and Chuck E. Cheese and places like that. And they have cards now. It's RFID cards. You tap, to cash out your tickets and everything else, and tap for the machines and all that. But hospitals have this stuff with the bracelets too. And you got to see this a lot. And again, these NFC scanners, and it's our RFID tags. That's what they are. So that's going to be the new method, basically, of society. And that's why they're making a major push by December to push digital currency. You know what I mean? And that's why there's no change shortage out there. That's why they're pushing it. Oh, there's a change shortage. There's no change shortage. They're doing that purposely because the big banks are not redistributing this stuff. They are trying to take most cash and coins out of the circulation as possible. So when they do transfer over to the digital currency, it's going to be a lot easier for them. That's why everybody's encouraged you to use your bank cards, to your scan saver cards, even the apps like, like the Venmo, whatever the case. They're encouraging people to use these things, because it contributes to the cashless society. And unfortunately, a lot of us do use this stuff, you know what I mean? And so they want to do away with cash altogether. And which people say, well, it's a good idea. It would be a good idea if you had normal people with no bad intentions involved with this. It would be an amazing idea. But the thing is, it's not, you know what I mean? Because they're going to micromanage everything you do, you know what I mean? So I'm going to run over some of these articles here, and we got some articles, videos I'm going to show you too. So top World Economic Forum advisor says humans will wear biometric sensors to be constantly monitored by Chinese government-style social media, Facebook and Google. And the comments are just the latest from the Israeli World Economic Forum advisor to raise eyebrows. He's also supporting genocide of humans. So this Frankenstein-looking person here. So the World Economic Forum, they got people from all over the world, but this one from China, they want people to wear biometrics to access social media. And it monitors a social credit score and everything else, and this is going to come worldwide. That's what they're trying to push, not just China. And the top advisor to the World Economic Forum says that humans will soon wear biometric sensors so they could, everything they do basically, even bodily functions, can be constantly monitored by big tech and the Chinese government. And the comments I just made from the latest from Israeli World Economic Forum advisor to raise eyebrows. Recently, he publicly claimed that the global elite don't need the vast majority of the population, even though to be alive. So he's saying like, oh, we don't need you people. We don't need a vast number of population, because they're calling for depopulation. I can't say too much because of YouTube, yeah. So, and they're pushing depopulation. So, and he guys, don't need the vast majority of population even to be alive, mocking humanity as unintelligent and worthless. Or another occasion, the same World Economic Forum advisor pondered how to keep useless people occupied after being replaced by AI, suggesting they would be quelled with drugs and video games. And it's World Economic Forum advisor Yuval Noah Harari, whatever the case, but yeah. This is what they are. Then this is he's a son. I mean, he's led by Klaus Schwab, the son of a major Third Reich industrialist. So Klaus Schwab is that bald-head whack job that you see on TV, and he goes, "Oh, you're going to eat bugs, and you got to like it. You're going to own nothing, and you got to like it." These are people at the World Economic Forum. They sit there in these forums and everything and tell people what you're going to do and what you're going to eat, how you're going to live. You know, they boldly come out and say this stuff. And they think they have the answers to everything. They think, all right, we're going to control you. We're going to control everything you do. And excuse the gestures, guys, but this is where not just one, but two. Right there. You're not controlling me. I'm not your slave. Plain and simple. That's what everybody needs to boldly stand up against these bastards and tell them that. You know what I mean? We're not your slaves. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. And come and try it. You know what I mean? Come and try and see what happens. And that's where the boldness needs to come out of you, man. And this is why we have a Second Amendment in this country. So these clowns in the World Economic Forum, you need to understand that. We have a Second Amendment in this country. And we will use that to protect ourselves. Because these are the same people calling to kill us. Same people calling to strip off us our rights. Same people say, oh, you gotta eat bugs and we're gonna depopulate you and all this stuff. And these people are evil. Evil. You know, Klaus Schwab, again, son of a major Third Reich industrialist. And these people are eugenicists, guys. These are the people who control this planet. And this is what they want. Now they're openly coming out with this stuff. Years ago, they didn't say it out publicly, but they wrote memoirs and giant publications saying what they're going to do. Appearing in forums, appearing in the TED Talks and all that, saying what they're going to do to people. But when we talked about it, we were conspiracy theorists. Now they're openly coming out to say everything we were saying years ago. They're coming out in public now saying this stuff. And they're bold about it now. They don't care. And unfortunately, most people are just sitting back like docile to what's going on out there. Just completely docile to this whole giant control grid they're setting up. Completely docile to it. And everybody, and sometimes I do the same thing. I'm not being a hypocrite, guys. Everywhere you go, this is what you see, right? It's all you see everywhere you go. You know what I mean? You go to bus stops, train stations, everywhere you go. No more social interacting. You know, it's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, it's like, you read like, unless you're communicating with them over the devices, they don't want to hear nothing. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre, it really is. Because I remember when I was growing up, man, and, me and my parents, sometimes we had to take buses when we didn't have a car, you know. We took buses and all that stuff and, public transportation and sitting in registries, sitting in the doctor's office and all that. People talked to each other. On the bus, it was great. People just like, everybody's talking on the bus. You know what I mean? Talk to each other. Now it's like, oh, she looked at me. Oh. You know, people are so frantic. It's so retarded. Really is, man. But yeah, they want to put biometrics on you. And World Economic Forum calls for a global intelligence collecting AI, artificial intelligence, to completely erase dangerous ideas from the internet. Yeah, calling in the United Nations, how many people showed that calling to censor the internet, plain and simple. And the World Economic Forum wants any idea they don't want, any idea that they don't like wiped out from the internet entirely. Not just censored, wiped out. So basically that would include our websites, personal websites we have. And yeah, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, will ban certain things. I can't say certain things on YouTube yet. And I try to respect their rules because it's a platform. However, I could put the stuff on my website. I could put it on Rumble, you know what I mean? And they can't do nothing about it, but they want to do something about it. In other words, not just to shut you up, we're going to erase everything off the internet about it. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. That's what they're calling for. And you've been seeing the WEF involved in a lot of this stuff. And check this guy out. Tesla driver found the perfect place to keep his car key implanted in his hand. Remember I just showed you that? Yeah, right in the hand. shut that because no YouTube. Oh, you used a copyrighted video or audio. So that same syringe I showed you is about. Yep. I'm gonna stick it right in there. There goes his car key right into his hand. And you get the point. So basically, everybody's got cars with, a lot of people's cars. I mean, with the keychain, you don't even have to put it in ignition. You just have it in the car or on you, and you can start the car and open the car up. You know what I mean? And so you get the point. It's in your hand. All right. The chip that's in your key is in your hand. So that's what they're going for. And now notice how they're publishing this because they're making it look cool. In Sweden and all that, everybody's got just about tens of thousands of people got chips implanted in their hands for different reasons. So Elon Musk approaches the brain chip startup Synchron. So Elon Musk approached the brain chip implant developer Synchron Incorporated about potential investment in his own company Neuralink plays catch up on the race to connect human brain directly to machines, according to four people familiar with the matter. And Musk reached Synchron's founder and chief executive Thomas Oxley in recent weeks to discuss potential deal with the sources said, and it's not clear if any transactions would be involved to tie up or collaboration between Synchron and Neuralink. So if you don't know what Neuralink is, it's Elon Musk has it, and I can't believe people buying into Elon Musk's crap. So and remember, World Economic Forum, they love Elon Musk for a reason. No, those satellites they send up all the time, Elon Musk does. Oh, it's for the benefit of humanity. We just want to bring internet to remote parts of the world. No, it's not for your benefit. Not at all. He's got the Neuralink. It's literally implanting microchips into your brain. That's what Neuralink is. To have like I told you about interfacing. When you go on the screens here, you're interfacing with the computer. It's a literally physical years ago, it was just keyboards, then keyboards and mouses. Now, it's literally touchscreen to interface with the computer, but they want to bring it to another step further that you don't even have to move. Just stare at the screen and think it, and it activates the Neuralink computer in your head to go to move the mouse around or select whatever you want. And they use paraplegic people and everything else, and paralyzed people to do these things to make it look good. You know what I mean? But for the idea of putting a microchip in your head, there's something not too kosher about that. And it's all related. The satellites they're putting up there, and this is my opinion, man, they are going to use that, okay, for this giant technocracy control, this and up with the microchip implants and everything. So basically, everybody that's going to be microchipped, they're going to be monitored 24/7, and there's not a place in the earth you can walk without being monitored. It's all related, you know what I mean? And the Bible says the microchip would go in your right hand or in your forehead. Not a coincidence, huh? You've seen, you've seen it everywhere. Klaus Schwab came out months ago, said everybody's going to be implanted with a microchip. You had David Rockefeller say the same thing 20, 30 years ago. All the top people in the global soul said, we're going to put microchips into you. That's the UN's goal and everything. And it was on Obamacare, pages 1001 and 1008. And to the I can't even talk today. The Republicans struck that down. And, that part of the Obamacare bill. And they said medical device implants into you to monitor you. You know what I mean? And you got this Neuralink, the Starlink systems that got set up. It's all related. Biometrics chips, all this stuff. It's all related. That's why they're making it look cool to put a chip into your hand. And you have all kinds of companies that did this. You know what I mean? Klaus Schwab, 2016, implant microchip, French within,
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand, ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital.
Right there, look. You just said that right there. And at the end, maybe we'll see a direct communication between our brain and the digital world. That's what they want to do. And this clown, that's Klaus Schwab right there. He gets a bowl, he says, he's deciding what's good for you. Let's say I said the double finger, you know what I mean? And, people got to understand, too, because I know I get criticized. Oh, Darren Bidondi was putting up his fingers. Who cares? Like, really, who cares? This doesn't necessarily mean F you. It's just an act of defiance. That's all it is, okay? It's a symbol of defiance. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. And that, to me, that's the best way. And when I do it doesn't mean F you. It just means, no, go to hell. Plain and simple. It's just a symbol of defiance. That's what it is. And, to these people right there, double that. You know what I mean? Go straight to hell if you think I'm going to, we're not your slaves, plain and simple. Yeah, I got to speed this up here. And these workers have got microchip implanted in the hand from their employer. So, I think there was a company out of Wisconsin. We talked about this many times about employees implanting. That's the same chip I just showed you right here. Right there. They're implanting this into employees' hands, different places. And 32M, that's the company out of Wisconsin. It's a technology company. The first company in the United States to offer implanted microchips to their employees. And microchips in humans, passports for everything. So they're using this company and all these propaganda tools to push. And this is kind of old here, this article here, but we reported this several times. This back in 2017. And again, World Economic Forum, of course, they're going to promote the idea because the World Economic Forum wants you to inject microchips. And here's the Catholic University Journal of Law and Technology. What the hell happened here? So the anomaly that is privacy, data privacy concerns related to the rise of microchip implants in humans. So there's many, many publications out there who are concerned about the data privacies of microchip implants and humans, right? This comes from the Catholic University Journal of Law and Technology. So this is a law institute. And also the ACLU has raised many concerns about microchip implants in humans. And by the way, if I should have pulled these up too, the FDA did approve these many years ago. They approved they said it's safe to implant a microchip into a human being. Now, this all started many years ago when they started putting this into animals. So a lot of animal owners who might think this looks familiar, right? Yeah, it's the same system, same concept. The implantable microchips to keep track of your livestock or whatever the case, yeah. But you have major, like law publications, all that, concerned about the data privacy concerns of microchip implants, and it's rising. I mean, in Sweden, like I said, tens of thousands of people already got microchip implants to ride trains and everything else, to make transactions and all that. They are slowly replacing the physical society into the digital society, you know what I mean? And they got several countries who are beta testing this thing. So you've seen a huge rise in this, and and then you also see a huge rise in legit, good law and technology places concerned about the privacy, and rightfully so, of these microchips. And people think it's a good idea because you don't have to carry wallets around you no more purses, no more ScanSaver cards, no more gym membership cards. You get a card for everything, right? You know what I mean? All these cards stacked in your wallet. You go to stores. Some particular stores offer, if you sign up with our club, you got discounts and, build up points and all that. You get a card for it, right? You get a card for everything, you know what I mean? Medical card, this card, that card. All that's going to be done away with and put on that one chip into your hand. All of it. Your money, if they need you, you get rush to the hospital, all they do is scan your chip, and it has all your entire medical history on it, your allergies and everything else. Sounds great. Sounds amazing, like I said. And that's how they're selling to the public. If I didn't know any better, I would think this is the best things in sliced bread there. And I'm trying to speed this up, man, so that's why I'm like stumbling here, because we've got our next show coming up soon. But yeah, they want this to sound like the next best thing since sliced bread. And if I didn't know any better, I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. And if it was good intentions, yeah, it would be great. You kidding me? It would be amazing. But we know this is diabolical purposes, and they're putting all the good things out there to make you convinced, oh yeah. And also too, parents, you could put these chips into your kids, and if your kids are ever lost, all you have to do is look on the grid on your computer, log on, and there's your kid right there. It'll prevent kidnappings and parolees getting out and who are out in jail, parole, whatever the case. We could constantly monitor them. Sex offenders, constantly monitor them. It sounds great. They're painting the great stories of these things. Oh, wait a minute, you don't have to worry about losing your keys no more. Or your wallet. Oh, man, I forgot my wallet at home. Nope, it'll all be in here. And nobody could physically take money from you no more or steal it. Yeah, these are all good things you got to hear about these things. They're going to make this thing seem like the best technologically advanced thing ever made. But do know this is not, okay? This is literally your soul in the line here.
Brotberger goes to work. He doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the...
Who says you can't go for bold without going broke? Get the brands you want,
I didn't sign up to my
whenever
YouTube
you
yet.
want.
Apologize.
TJ Maxx, where you can always afford to be you.
Darn it,
through the
I hate
day
that.
is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all in chip, so I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks.
Exactly.
So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips as part of a dystopian future.
Install ingrain procedure with local anesthetic and you're good to go.
In Sweden, the microchips are already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards,
which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden.
No cash.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
but even in this nation of early adopters, not every...
See the propaganda? I like to show you it all. Yeah, the propaganda. And you're right, Dan, DJ, he said, does sound great, but it's not. It sounds shitty. Excuse my language. Yeah, exactly. That sounds crappy is right. That's what they're doing, guys. And over here, you got Sweden sees microchip implant revolution. It's like the same video you're seeing. I don't know why I got that twice. And over here, COVID-19 in Sweden, a vaccine passport and a microchip implant. France 24 English. So, yeah. So they want, the passports to be, this way they know what you have, you know what I mean? On a microchip implant. So that's what's going on there. And I just used the goofy word, so I got to watch what I say. But yeah, they want to know if you caught up on your shots, plain and simple. And this microchip will monitor that to make sure you're caught up on all your shots. And once again, World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab's speech on World Economic Forum for human microchip implants. I wanted to show you these videos, but the course of time here.
I just would like to highlight what you said about the European Chips Act, because it's a very important step to create the physical brain for digitalization and to have it located to a certain extent in Europe. I also, your reference to the Klaprow report, Rome report, the forum at that time launched actually the Klaprow Rome report.
I can't stand listening to this idiot. I got a bad chip in you. We're going to take everything you own. Yeah. I like to smack the glasses right off his face, to tell you the truth. I can't stand that guy. But Elon Musk here reveals plans to implant computer chips into brains. Oh, yeah. And we got to speed this up here.
And also connecting brains to computers. Here's what Elon Musk said at a conference in California about the technology last night.
This, I think, has a very good purpose, which is to cure important diseases and ultimately to help secure humanity's future as a civilization relative to AI. This, I think, has tremendous potential And we hope to have this aspirationally in a human patient before the end of next year. So this is not far.
Not far, he says. The implantation of the neuron, the implantation of the neuron-sized threads requires the use of a special robot, but Musk said it's a minimally invasive surgery. So Thornton, I'm sure that means you'll be getting one soon.
I'm gonna get a few.
See, and, you know, the concept of them putting microchips into your hand. You see that though? You see that? It's always shown the head or the hand. You know what I mean? And people laugh and scoff at the Bible. You know what I mean? The Bible said this, okay, thousands of years ago. Said this, okay, in bold text and print. People laughed at, You're seeing it now. The top globalists are saying we're going to put a microchip into your hand or forehead. You can't deny it. You know what I mean? And it's not a coincidence, guys. You know what I mean? This is the whole point of the show here. Microchipping your child. There are solid, rational reasons for it, says Supreme Overlords of the World Economic Forum. Solid reasons we're going to put a chip into your kid. And the one that goes in the forehead, in the head there, it's a flatter chip than this here. This is reason why it looks like a grain of rice, because it's encased in it's like almost it's a glass in capsule. You know, this way it floats freely in your hand and it protects the chip from the fluids of your body. So they got a flatter one that goes into the head somewhere. And let's put a microchip in your kid's head. Then there's solid rational reasons for it, says the Supreme Overlords of the World Economic Forum. And WF's latest dystopian nightmare is here, and it's being spun as a superpower aimed at helping your children. And the World Economic Forum is always looking out forward when it comes to human development instead of fixing current problems and focusing on augmented realities in this very part of our future, according to their guest article from the WEF contributor, Vice President and RID, Kathleen Phillips. It's always associated with this long title, you know what I mean? Just say the contributor Kathleen Phillips, okay? The next natural step to detach reality has God made it, proposed by Phillips, microchipping ourselves and your children, apparently. So, guys, by the way, these three are the enemy of society. George Soros, Klaus Schwab, and Bill Gates. These three are the biggest enemies of society. And yes, everybody, all these guys want microchips into you. They've been calling it for years. David Rockefeller was number 4, but he's dead now. So, and don't worry, they're going to be joining him in hell soon enough. So, Phillips here, she's saying that the application of implants, as she terms them, in healthcare and security, the issue, her whole argument reads like microchips are going to be part of a normal society. And they said it's for your health and it's for your security. And you heard it here first that I say no to microchip implants. Yeah. So this is a commercial before we go, guys. This is a commercial. IBM put this out years ago. You might have seen this before. IBM RFID commercial, the future supermarket, right? Now, check this out. And some of the stores you could actually go into, they have them in some places. You don't even need a cashier or nothing. Like, you just bag your stuff yourself, walk around the store, bag your stuff, walk right out. And the RFID sensors at the door pick it all up and put it on your card or whatever the case. Because even the military commerce stores too, they have the government IDs has RFID chip on it. When I worked at Bank of America as a security guard, armed security, I don't know how many people came in a day, okay, saying my card's been used. We don't know how. And the banks are like puzzled. How is people getting all these people's identification? So, and the cards, like a lot of the bank cards, have this chip on it. That's RFID. So basically, all somebody has to do is buy an RFID scanner, program it a certain way. They can literally sit back. Everybody that walks by, beep, 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 get their credit card information or the ATM card information. Dozens of people a day go to the bank and say, hey, listen, somebody took money out of my account. A lot of it's to do with their own stupidity, granted, but a lot of cases like this is people stealing with the RFID technology. And you're supposed to get a protective wallet for these things. That's why the passports, when you buy them, there's RFID embedded in the cover of the passport. And they tell you, get a protective sleeve for it, because when you're traveling through airports, there's people literally sitting there with the little the scan readers, They could be 40 feet away and scan your information. But check this commercial out, right? I'm just going to kill the music on it because I don't know if there's any copyright crap. YouTube's strict with music stuff, but there's a guy walking to a store, just loading stuff in his pocket. Normally it looks like a shoplifter, right? You got some wacko walking to a store with a trench coat, just loading stuff in his pockets. Everybody's looking at him under video surveillance there. The security guards are staring at him. And yeah. So there he goes right out the door, walks through the scanner, bang.
Forgot your receipt.
Checkout lines. Who needs them?
Have a nice day.
This is the future of e-business.
So that's the future. And yeah, people say, oh, that looks cool. You don't have to go to, stand on a register. Yeah, it sounds cool, but it's not. It's not. They're going to know everything, man. And what do you think of the scan saver cards, too, when you go to the supermarkets, right? What do you think those were designed for? Not just to give you a couple cents off a product or something like that. It's to monitor you, literally. The casinos use it. Foxwoods Casino, the biggest casino in the world in Connecticut, that's what they have. They have the wampum cards, they call it. And it's like every time you use the machine, you put the card in, and it's RFID technology too. So basically, I used to work at Foxwoods, and they have a database on you. Everything you do is on a database, you know what I mean? And yeah, they'll feed you a couple points. They'll give you a free buffet here and there. They'll do that. They call it the rewards program. And the thing is, you're dumping money into the casino. And of course, they're going to throw you a free buffet here and there to incentives, you know what I mean? To keep you coming back and dumping your paychecks into the machines. Sure, they might, if you spend a lot, they'll give you a free night at the hotel, something like that, or free tickets to a concert. Yeah, incentives, right? Just to keep you coming back and feeding the machines. And when you do hit big, you think I actually won, when in reality you spend 10 times more than you actually won. You know what I mean? So the stores do the same thing. You know what I mean? They know how many ounces of potato salad you bought, the brand and everything else, right? And it's a database collecting all this information. And Brussels, they have supercomputers out in Brussels that has all the information on you. In 1974, they invented the code bar, right? And the prime numbers on the code bar, the regular code bars, is 666. Literally, the prime numbers is the two lines that go all the way up and down on the code bar, and there's a bunch of numbers. Those three prime numbers is 666. Not even joking. And a computer that monitors that is called BEAST, Brussels Economic Automated Systems Technology. Not a coincidence, man. You know what I mean? They've been having this whole system set up for a while. You know what I mean? And I got to get going in a minute here. So, guys, let me put this link in the chat room, guys. So if you want to click on this link here and head over to the other side, we're going to be joining Trey Harris in just a couple minutes here. And the poll we just had, sorry, guys, I didn't see comments. So the poll we had, would you let the government implant you with the RFID microchip, mark of the beast, basically? One person said yes, compared to 98% no. So 66 votes out of 66, one person said yes. I don't know if he did that by accident or it's probably trolls, whatever the case, but who knows? But regardless of who you are, you're literally going to hell. Like, seriously, if you take that chip, okay, at that time when, and it's going to be pushed by the Antichrist, okay, plain and simple, there's no going back. You just sealed your fate. It's two unforgivable things in the Bible. One is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Jesus said you could trash him, you could trash the Father, and you could be forgiven for it. But you blaspheme the Holy Spirit, you're not. You know what I mean? And the other thing is taking that mark, plain and simple. In Revelation 16 and the sixth angel, this is, I was going to bring this up, I don't have time right now, but I brought this up if you want to see the show with me and Brian, last night, we did the one on UFOs. This is let's see if we got a couple minutes here. So I'm just trying to get this stuff going here. We got another show coming up in a few minutes here, so I'll just go over this real quick. basically on the UFO situation, right? Revelation chapter 16, and the sixth angel pours his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the river dries up. So as we speak right now, the Euphrates River is about 50% dried up. This is all over the news. And this river will dry up, and to make the way for the kings of the east to be prepared. And I saw 3 unclean spirits that look like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and the false prophet. In other words, through the authority of Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet, they're going to reveal to the entire world 3 unclean spirits that look like frogs, reptilians. And check this out, for they are spirits of devils working miracles that go forth into the entire world to gather them together for that great day of God Almighty. And it goes on to say it's the battle of Armageddon. And that's what the UN's all preparing for. They're saying we're going to greet alien life. The Vatican's saying and everything else, they're preparing for this. And I wish I could show you more scripture, but Aleister Crowley, anybody who knows anything about this guy, right? He said the same thing. Today they're called angels and demons. Tomorrow they'll be called something else. I hate every time I talk about UFOs, I got to bring this jerk up here, but those are the challenged spirits that he talked to. Now, today people say, I've been visited by aliens and UFOs. That's exactly what they look like. And he said that. It's like, because these things, these entities, there's one named Lamb. And this entity told him, exactly, we're going to be called something else in the future. And now they're called aliens. This was like, when it comes to the occult, guys, this guy was the cream of the crop when it comes to the occult. So, as far as the microchips here, and it's all connected too, guys. The whole system, it's all connected with the aliens and the microchips and everything. So, the unclean spirits, I should say. So, Revelation 13 says he causes, okay? This is a key. That's why when we talk about scripture, you need to break it all down and understand every aspect of it. He causes. It's not the world, like people in the world that's doing it. He, the Antichrist, caused all small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And nobody could buy, sell, or save without the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And he has wisdom to understand it's 666, plain and simple. You see that? The correlation in the right hand or in the forehead. And you heard all the top globalists. I could bring up hours of videos, hours of documents, hours of publications, hours of journals, okay, with the top globalists in the world saying, we're going to put a microchip into your head or your right hand. Like that kid, that famous black kid that, all he does is ask for common sense when he shows a video. Yeah. You don't, how much more do you need? And people still sit there and bash the Bible. And that's just like, you just got to rack your brain, man. You're like, what? The world elite is calling for this, guys, and the Bible's already told you about this. 666 is a human biometrics number. Just like, and people just sit there and still deny it. It's so unreal. And, like, not to switch gears here, but I actually got to get going. But, the same thing with the dinosaur stuff, right? They'll sit there and deny the giants, deny human giants, right? Even though they find full skeletons, thousands of these things. They've been logged on every major publication back in the 1800s, early 1900s, right? Logged, okay? Full skeletons, right? But, yeah, they'll dismiss that and make fun of that, right? Oh, there's no such thing as giants. You know what I mean? But yet they'll, the dinosaurs. Oh, the dinosaurs are real. So they take 2 or 3 bones they find in the middle of nowhere, like a foot bone, right? Then they'll construct the entire dinosaur around a few bones from the foot. And we're supposed to believe that. But yet let's not believe the full evidence of full skeletons, 18 feet tall and all that. Caves full of them, 200 in New Mexico, 11 feet and up. Let's not believe that. Same thing with this. You got the world elite calling for the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it just baffles me. It really does. And I know I'm a little early, but I'm also an anti-microchipper. So, yeah. So, guys, if you like the broadcast tonight, we've got a PayPal, Venmo, and CashApp. The links are in the description if you want to contribute toward this operation. And, it's awesome. And it pays for the rent here and streaming services and all that. And thank you guys so much for doing that. Most of all, like, share, and subscribe, and pray for us, guys. So, Mysterious Monuments of Babylon coming up next. I put the link in the chat room. So, guys, right now, if you want to head over to that now, and we'll talk to you in the chat room and everything else, head it over there right now if you can. And Trey Harris is going to be joining us in a minute. So, check out the content on ICTV tomorrow night. It's the Midnight Ride, 11 p.m. Eastern, with David Carrico and John Pounders. So check them out, guys. And until then, guys, we will see you Monday live. So love you all. God bless. Shalom. And you are the resistance. And actually, I'll see you in like 5 minutes. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com. It is fire. Defending liberty in the spirit of 1776. It's Dan Bidondi on Truth Radio.